Okay, so thank you for joining me, everybody. It's the 1st of June, 2020 Wing Chun class. We're going to give it another go. Last week, I tried to do the same thing, but a number of things were happening in my apartment, and I was probably a little too wordy. What I really want to do here is go through all of the requirements for Wing Chun Yellow Sash if you were submitting a video exam and what that might look like if you don't have a partner available to you. Okay, so the nice part about last week is you can go in and you can look at, because I had Simo Jean helping me last week, what would it look like with a partner? This recording and this attempt will be if you are 100% solo. So let's bow the class in, and like always, we always acknowledge all of our sources from all around the world, regardless of the curricular area we're in. So Chinese, abbreviated; Filipino, abbreviated; Thai, this is the full salutation; Indonesian, this is abbreviated; French and Dog Brothers, that's pretty much the full salutation; then Japanese, that's the full salutation as well. So we're gonna jump right into Yiji Kuyama, and so we're getting in our formal stance, toes open and heels open, and our hands are up. We can keep our hands as fists, and we're going to do 10, I'm sorry, everybody, I'm out of order. I forgot our one-legged battle punches, so I apologize. So everybody lift your left leg, and we're going to do 15 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, set that foot down. Take a quick second. If you're faster than me and I'm holding you back, go ahead. Okay, I don't mean that in a rude way if I'm slowing you down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. So 30 sets of one-legged battle punches, 15 on each side. Now we go into footwork. Please excuse me. So now we're ready for Yiji Koyama. So we're looking for just 10 sets, fist over fist, with perfect form here, with no body mechanics to speak of. Just dominating center line as our focus. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now we go to open your fingers. Let's go to our left. 1, open, center. 2, open to the right. 3, open, center. 4, open, left. 5, open, center. 6, open, right. 7, open, center. 8, left. 9, open, center. And 10. Okay, so for everybody participating and watching, for the Yiji Koyama, for the ones just front facing, just 10 reps is totally sufficient. For Jutsunma, which is where we go to our left, we give 1 set, we open, we go center, open, right. I like to end on the center. So if you've cycled through a few times, sometimes the count comes out a little bit differently. But if you've cycled through left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, you've cycled through all of that a couple of times. Just try to end on the center. But I'm not, any more than 10, depending on your count, is just fine. All right. Okay, so our drills. Let's go back to our drills. So we're in our formal stance. Let's go right Tan Sao, left Bong Sao, right Lop Sao, and left punch. And then we switch back. Defense, offense, defense, offense. Bong Sao, Tan Sao, Lop Sao, punch. Right? And just, you all taking the class, you can go ahead of me. There's no problem, okay? But everybody just find your rhythm with that, all right? And I'm just taking a look at everybody that's here. Good. Yep. And then the only thing that I see, even Conrad, even if you feel like it's limiting your range of motion, and this is a good point for everybody watching and participating, keep your wrists attached, okay? You want that contact, because that would be the cohesion with you and your partner's arm that you're simulating, okay? You wouldn't be touching your own arm. You would be doing it the way that you're doing it, Conrad. But if you do it this way, you can experience that cohesion. That's the hardest part, is sticking, right? Sticking to your partner's wrist. Okay, so that's left Bong Sao, right Tan Sao. So now go right Tan Sao. I'm sorry, left Tan Sao, right Bong Sao. Left Tan Sao, right Bong Sao. Left Lop Sao, right punch. Defense. Lop and punch. Defense. Lop and punch. Defense. Lop and punch. And then defense. Lop and punch. Okay, so we have that drill on both sides. And once again, when this becomes available to everybody, there will be a written supplemental curriculum as well. And this will be in the drills section. This will get written up, which is a little bit different. I'm not being disrespectful. The way that it's written up here is, it's Bong Sao has got its own bullet point, and Lop Sao has its own bullet point, and it's just a little bit confusing. I'm not insulting Sifu Fong, he's amazing, or anybody who's responsible for writing down that curriculum. It's an amazing curriculum. But in my written supplemental, I won't be providing those. I'm going to change things up just slightly. It's my Wing Chun progression, completely informed by Sifu's curriculum, but I'm gonna put a few little changes and clarifications in there. All right, so that's the only one. Why doesn't everybody relax for a moment? So, and for everybody viewing, that's the only one where you have to do it on both sides, if you will. You know, right hand Tan Sao, left hand Bong Sao, and then right hand Lops and left hand punches, and then the other way would be left hand Tan Sao, right hand Bong Sao, left hand Lops, right hand punches. So for everybody testing solo, you have to show, let's say, at least 10 reps on each side, okay? And take your time. I'm the head instructor, and I find that awkward at times, doing it in the air. But again, this is better than not doing it at all. If you're stuck without a partner, or even later when things reopen, knock on wood, hopefully not that long from now, if you don't have a partner, or you don't have a partner with any kind of martial art, they can't even give you the energy that you need. And all of those situations, I want to start creating materials so that my members can still move forward, regardless of what your situation is. Okay, so Jutsao. So for all of you, so if you're testing, I'm looking to see this. It's, fix your stance, get in your nice formal stance. And this is all I'm looking to see. With a partner, your partner would be giving you this. You would be catching it on the outside. So, 10, 15-ish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, how long? I don't think that was even 30 seconds. Okay, so, and again, for now, this is you demonstrating Jutsao in the context of the drills section in the curriculum. And that's not me lowering my standards. That's not me giving anything away. That's me creating explicit steps that you can follow if you don't have a partner for whatever reason and you want to try to move ahead in my Wing Chun progression. Okay, so that's your Jutsao. Your Tansao, here's your Tansao. Okay, so the emergent Tansao goes under. See how that's under the previous. And the previous Tansao kind of pulls back to Wu Sao, kind of a Wu Sao. This is Wu Sao, guarding hand, okay, or defending hand. Here. Not this, not rotating, not scooping, not, I always say the same thing. Everybody wants their Tansao to do something, and the only verb that your Tansao can use is to be. That's all it can, it exists. That's all it can do. It doesn't deflect, it doesn't open, it doesn't wedge, it doesn't sweep, clear, any of those verbs. All it does is it is. Okay, so I've done way more than 10 reps. That is your Tansao. Your Jopsao. So all of these, you know, and you know what, just for sake of clarification, you know, feet together, bend at the knees a teeny little bit, open your toes and open your heels, and then sink back. You should feel it in your glutes a little bit, your upper thighs. This is that's the Wing Chun equivalent of horse stance, and I've talked about this before. That's not a fighting posture. So it would be just as ridiculous to be a karate practitioner and say, well, I'm not doing horse stance because if I use that, I'm going to get kicked in the groin. Nobody's suggesting that you fight in this posture. It's a training posture. Okay, Jopsao. Here's your Jopsao. So it just cuts. Again, the feed for all of these, once we get past Bong Sao, Lop Sao, this first one that we started with, this would be what your partner would be doing. Clean battle punches, just like we did it with Yiji Koyama for footwork earlier, right? And as they do that, you're cutting. So as if you're punching with your right hand, there's my Jopsao, and then your left, then your right, then your left. And I'm just cutting that line. Not past center line. If you do that, something bad is gonna happen. Just right on center line. Because this person is not giving you bad like piston energy. They're training, they would be training properly too. Blasting straight down center line. So neither person sacrifices good form for the sake of their training. We're just here. Okay, so there we go again. Okay, so here's our Jopsao. Okay, our Hunsao. So our Hunsao. So we check. Hey, Ivan. Our Hunsao. We're gonna jop in just slightly, but then here's our Hunsao. Hey, Ivan. So we're kind of repeating, my friend, of last week. I'm just kind of running through what a solo Wing Chun exam would look like. I wasn't entirely satisfied with last Monday. Okay, so I'm gonna do it again and get to everything and be a little bit more expedited, a little faster. Okay, so remember, for everybody watching, for Hunsao, we jop in and then we hoon. What we're trying to avoid is flaring this elbow. So just cut in, little cut, and jop, and then hoon. Even though it's going to be written up as hoon sao, just be, you have to cut in a little bit with like a jop sao, because again, the line, if this is the line and the line continues until you get hit in the sternum or the face, I don't want to risk that moment as this line comes in. If this is the punch, I don't want to risk that my timing is perfect. See, I'm gambling my face that hoon sao, that scoop, is going to be perfect, as opposed to jopping in just slightly and then turning out for the hoon sao. Okay, so I know I keep explaining it the same way every week, but I want to be really clear. You've got to cut in. See that cut and scoop, cut and scoop. If you want to just say it in English, think of it as cut the line and then scoop it. Okay, so that's how I'd like to see your hoon sao if you're testing solo. And once again, the feed is just this. This would be what your partner would be doing if you had a partner available to you. This whole section, the drill section, once we get past this one, all of these, jut sao, ton sao, jop sao, hoon sao, and our last one, pak sao, our partner would just be here. So pak sao, it might feel a little anticlimactic at this point, but it is what it is. Okay, slapping hand. If you had a partner available to you, higher on the forearm. Try not to, try never to pak sao at the wrist. Higher up, because you want all of what that contact point gives you. And even in the context of drills, which is a little bit more formal in our, our training posture, I don't want to get, and why is that? Because if this gets slapped, it's very easy, and I don't have the benefit of a partner, but if this is the connection point of my opponent, it's very easy to roll over the top and use my elbow if the connection is here. If the connection is here, that's way harder to do, okay? So just be aware of that. Here's all what I'm looking for pak sao. Okay. So super quick again, after we've worked both sides, so down here, boom, we've worked both sides of bong sao / lop sao. I'll make this super fast. Jut sao. Show your jut sao, maybe 10 reps minimum. Each time, I've already done more than 10, so it shouldn't take you that much time. That's your jut sao. Nice and smooth. And I keep saying the same thing every week. I wish, jut sao translates to jerking hand. There's nothing jerky about this motion. I don't like that choice. I'm not saying I know more than the old Wing Chun masters. There's nothing jerky about this. It's very smooth. But that's your jut sao, okay? Your ton sao. Here's your ton sao. Remember, everybody, only tension is in your thumbs. And I have these weird pinkies. They're hereditary. Sometimes it looks like I have tension in them when they're actually completely relaxed. Okay. My forefingers are completely relaxed. It's only my thumbs that have tension in them. That's your ton sao. Your jop sao. It's like this chop. Jop rhymes with chop. That's how I always remember it. Okay. And when we do have the benefit of getting a partner in front of us, I tend to say the same thing. We don't want to be abusive with the jop sao. So many years of teaching Wing Chun, nothing escalates partners faster than the jop sao, because people start to, oh, this is Wing Chun, we're going to make it hardcore and it's okay, and you got to just take it because I'm training, and that's really the wrong mindset, because a couple of those, this starts to get old very quickly. If it's like 30 seconds I'm feeding and my partner's just reckless, oh, it's bad, especially if it's my turn after. Okay, so when we do get a partner, I'm so sorry, drop sounds here. That would be the feed. When we do get a partner in front of us again, we want to take it easy. We don't want to destroy their arms. Our partner's always loaning us their body on which to train, so we want to respect that. Hun Sao. Here's our Hun Sao. Good. Pak Sao. Here's our Pak Sao. Not going past. If we go past center line, we're in trouble, because that also meant we rotated. So no rotation, no body mechanics. Use the tool to dominate center line. Each hand, if you will, Jut Sao, Tan Sao, Jop Sao, Hun Sao, Pak Sao. Each hand is a tool. We use that tool in this context to dominate center line. Okay, time. So that's Pak Sao. So 10 or so reps of all of those, and you're good. Let's jump to the trapping section. So 3 combinations. I don't have Simo Gene available to me, and we're going to do everything solo. Okay, so I'm in a right reference point. I'm in a right lead. The back of my wrist is touching the back of the wrist of my imaginary opponent. Number 1, slap with the left and knife hand with the right. Pak Sat Da. Pak Sat Da. Slapping hand, hit with the knife hand. Pak, slapping hand. Sat Da, okay, or Sat Sao. Sat, knife hand. Da means hit. So the syntax is a little out of order as far as what we're used to. That's a better way of saying it. It's kind of an insensitive way, linguistically insensitive. It's a syntax that we're not used to, okay, where the verb is at the end, but it basically means use the slapping hand to hit with the knife hand. Use the slapping hand to open up the line and hit with the knife hand. So for everybody out there, okay, Sifu Bryan, here's the trapping section. I'm in a right lead. I would be in my reference point. Number 1 is slap and hit with the knife hand, or Pak Sat Da. And maybe you do, I don't know, 5 reps is probably sufficient. I mean, you can do more than that. Okay, all right, Sifu Bryan. So number 2, I start like number 1. My opponent would use their rear hand to push this right Sat Sao past center line. I insert my left Tan Sao, and then I lock with the left, and I Chung Choi with the right. So completely in English, I slap with the left, I knife hand with the right. They would parry with their right or their rear hand, their left hand. They would parry across center line. I insert the showing hand, is my left hand, and then my left hand grabs while my right hand hits with the vertical fist. So I'm trying to give you something, anybody who's participating and watching, something very explicit. After you've explained that once or twice, then you could just, okay, so here's a few reps of number 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sat Sao, they parry, Tan Sao, Lop Sao, Chung Choi. Or, knife hit, slap and hit with the knife hand, they parry, showing hand, pull and hit with the knife hand. 3, compound trapping, if you want to do that, 3 or 4 times and explain it, that's fine. Again, I'm trying to give everybody things that they can follow if they don't have a partner right now. So everybody can still continue to move ahead and advance and rank up, and not feel like all the time that they were stuck at home was wasted time. Like, let's make the most out of our time by using the technology until we can get back to the ideal circumstances. Okay, number 3, final trapping combination. Start like 1, get parried across like 2, insert the Tan Sao like 2, then slap with the right and knife hand with the left. So left Pak, right Satsao, they parry across center line, left Tonsao, right Paksao, and finish with scoring with the left Satsao. So in English, slap with the left, knife hand with the right, get parried across center line, insert the left showing hand, right slapping hand, and score with the left knife hand. Okay, and you know, once again, you're by yourself and you're putting an exam together. This time I'll do the whole thing. So imagine I'll kind of get into character and I'll verbalize it, okay? So here's what trapping combo number 3 might look like if you're solo putting an exam together. Okay, Sifu Bryan, so now I'm moving on to trapping combo 3. So I'm in my right reference point, like all of them. I slap with the left, I knife hand with the right, I get parried across center line, I insert this showing hand as my left, and then I slap with the right, and I score with the left, right? So Pak Satsao like number 1, get parried like number 2, insert the Tonsao like number 2, but then the difference between 2 and 3, I slap with the right, and I hit with the left. Whereas number 2, I pull with the left, and I punch with the right, you know? Okay, so that's I've explained it now. So Sifu Bryan, I'll do a few reps in the air for you, right? Of trapping combo 3, slap and hit, knife, Tonsao, slap and hit, knife hand on the other side. Attack the right side, Tonsao, slap and hit, score on the left side. Pak Sat Da, Tonsao, Pak Sat Da on the other side. One more rep. 1, get pushed past, insert, slap and hit, and I score on the other side, okay? So now I'm breaking character, you know, scene, if you will. Does yours need to look exactly like that? No, I'm trying to demo what it might look like. I mean, it might even look like this. So here, I'll go back into character, okay? So, okay, Sifu Bryan, this is, you know, Joe Smith. This is again, my yellow sash exam, and now I'm doing trapping combo 3. Trapping combo 3, I start like 1, I insert this showing hand here, and then I slap with the right, and I finish with the left. And so I started by attacking their right side, and I finish by touching down on their left side. Now I'm just gonna do a few reps for you, okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. A little slower. 1, insert, finish. Okay, so that's trapping combo number 3. And it's maybe, you know, and scene. Maybe it looks like that. I'm trying to give different examples. The main thing that I want to say to everybody is get something on video and get it to me. Whenever you submit an exam, and all 3 people that are taking the class now, you now have one of the membership options. Whenever you submit your video exam, just know this, I always start on your side. I'm always looking for the things that you did well first. I'm always looking for, you know, what's going well. There are very few things that'll just cause me to be like, nope. And they very rarely, if ever, happen to me, where it's like, you know, hypothetically, somebody submits something and it doesn't look anything like the requirement. That almost never happens, ever. So when in doubt, get something on video, get out of your own way, because I get it. We all want it to be as perfect as possible. I'll say this and then I'll wrap this up for you. I don't really believe in perfection, especially when you're talking about human beings. We are imperfect. It's just the way it is. So don't let perfection be the standard. Like, I'd rather you get something on video and let's see where you're at. And if there are things that need to be re-recorded, those will be the only things that you have to re-record. Everything that I consider sufficient, you're good, okay? And if you make a mistake while you're recording, just acknowledge that you made a mistake and keep going. That's one of my top pieces of advice. People do something and, I made a mistake. And it's like, you wasted 30 seconds. Just say, oops, I did that wrong. Let me start over again. And then get to it and get to demoing it correctly. Okay, that's trapping. So where I like to go from here is you follow along with the form. Now, I've got to keep this fair, because even if you were training in a live class with me, yellow sash, we do the form together. And as long as you can follow along with a reasonable degree of proficiency, then that's the standard at this level. There will be later belt levels, sash levels, where you have to have it memorized for sure on your own. That's not the standard for a yellow sash. So why am I saying that? Depending on how well you have it down, you might want to cue up the video to this portion and just say, okay, I'm gonna play the video of you doing it and follow along, while you're recording on your camera or somebody's recording on a cell phone. That is completely within the rules for this level. So if you want that visual aid, it's totally fine. So hands are at our sides. I'm going to do it once with explanation and once just kind of at the pacing that we would do it. Hands rise up. They come to your sides. Make sure you're not touching your ribs. There's a little bit of separation. Bend your knees, open your toes, and open your heels. Left hand is on top. Right hand is in front. Bring it back. Left hand arms, knuckles start pointed towards the floor, and then you execute this Chun Choi. Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Sao Kun. As it comes in, the right hand loads and does the same motion. As that comes in, the left Tan Sao goes out. We have a Hun Sao here. We're in Wu Sao to Fuk Sao. Back. 1, 2, 3, Pak Sao, Jik Chun, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Sao Kun. We're going to repeat that. I usually count the Fuk Saos. 1, 2, 3. If you do 4, Sifu always says it's not a problem. Pak Sao, Jik Chun, done with session 1. Session 2, escape from grabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, left hand's on top. 5, open. 6, right hand's on top. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Session 3, left hand first. Right hand repeats. Pak, bring it back. Wanjern, done. Tan Sao, Gan Sao, Tan Sao, Hun Sao, low Wanjern, back up high where we started. High, low, high, circle, low palm strike, back to where we started. Bong Sao, Tan Sao, Wanjern. Bong Sao, Tan Sao, Wanjern. Palm down left, the palm up right, wipes it. Switch, switch. Right hand holds center line. 1, 2, 3 battle punches, the right hand comes back. Tan Sao, Hun Sao, Sao Kun, turn slightly to your left, right foot meets the left, push down. Okay, so there's some explanation. There's the form, and now I'll do it at speed so that if you want to play this during your yellow belt examination as a supplement and just follow along with me, you absolutely can. But I'm not going to verbalize it. One other quick word. Traditionally, session 1, this is all session 1. Once we finish the opening, session 1 is super slow. This might even be a little fast. Okay, super slow. I'm probably going to do it at maybe 50% traditional speed, maybe even a little bit faster than that. I tend to also not blitz through the other sessions. especially at this level, because we're building structure and I'm not necessarily interested in your speed at this time when we're focused on you earning your yellow sash. Okay, Selim Tao, here we go. Speed at which you can follow along with me if you choose to for your yellow belt examination. All right, so the only other thing for everybody out there watching would be, I like to save this for the very end. The very last thing would be your Wing Chun gates round. So I'll explain this. I've explained it before with a partner and how the partner would feed. You would need a partner with focus mitts. This is the high feed single. This is the low feed single. When your partner does that, that's when you want to come in with those battle punches. So normally for everybody watching, you know, Sifu Francis Fong, that's my Wing Chun instructor. This is his curriculum really informing the majority of this progression. It's not like I want to come in here and take credit like I wrote it. I did not. I'm making a few little modifications as one of his Black Sash full instructors, but this is 95% Sifu Fong. He's very good friends with Guru Inasanto and Ajahn Surachai Surizu, president of the World Thai Boxing Association. This, when we're under optimal conditions, is kind of the Wing Chun equivalent of the 60-40 round from Thai boxing. In Thai boxing, you'll have a 3-minute round during which the examinee has to get 60 kicks and 40 knees from the clinch on the Thai pads in a 3-minute round. Depending on the level for which that person is testing, they amp up the pressure. Like very early, there's almost no pressure. When you go to test for instructor, the person who's holding for you, who for the instructor's exam, has to be a certified instructor, Thai boxing instructor. They're almost kicking and hitting and punching back at you somewhere near full contact. It's a lot of pressure. The reason I'm saying all that, the gates round was kind of intended to be sort of analogous to that, but Wing Chun specific. So if you had a partner, you know, here we would be feeding with very minimal contact, and all you're doing on the high line when you're getting fed singles, most people like build-up. This is build-up, right? So this hand's covering, and then I'm punching with the other hand, right? Or build-up here, which makes a lot of sense if, you know, it would look like that, right? Yeah, so you'd be doing your build-G with your left hand, and you'd be striking the mitt with your right hand. And then here, you'd switch it, okay? Some people they like Tanda. Tanda would be here. it's just a little slower because you got to turn this over and then bring it back. So Build-A is a little bit faster, but the most important thing is don't block the mitt, the focus mitt with your face, right? Is use one of these tools. And then Ganda would be here, right? Because the feed is this. They're going low, they're going low. So, you know, on this side, it would be your your right Gonsao and your left hand punching this mitt. Then when we go here, boom, you're unloading with your chain punches, your battle punches, like you see everybody in the class doing and trying to get as many as possible. Under optimal conditions, you have a holder. You're wearing MMA gloves. That's what most people tend to want to use. Or you can go empty-handed if you don't want the extra weight. Then you have a counter, a verbal counter, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. They count your singles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 34. Right, they're verbal. They actually count it out loud. And then in the Sifu Francis Fong Wing Chun Association, during examinations, they'll also have a silent counter, someone who's counting in their head. And then at the end of the round, they compare numbers. And typically, if they are off, they're only off by 2 or 3 punches. It's not a big deal, okay? So the idea is a really sound idea. You're using your Wing Chun structure to hit something. And there's a physical aspect. And we like to save this for the very last part of your examination. You've already done all the slow, methodical, you know, the drills, the trapping. You went through the form. It was nice and relaxed and so on. And now we end on a physical note. And so for your yellow sash, for everybody out there watching, it's a minimum of 150 punches. So what does that look like if you are by yourself? Well, if you have a heavy bag or a bob dummy or anything that you can actually hit, well, then I invite you to do this on that apparatus. And you're gonna need like your cell phone. Everybody's got a timer these days because everybody's got a cell phone. They all have timers built in. So you're gonna put 3 minutes. And, you know, it could, so use your imagination, pretend my bob dummy is here. You know, I've got my phone and I've put 3 minutes on the timer. Okay, Sifu Bryan, I have 3 minutes on my timer. I'm gonna do my gates and I have to have a minimum of 150 punches. Ready and go. And then, you know, you're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17, then maybe you move around a little bit. That way you get your breath, you know, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 20, and so on. Now, here's the other thing that'll make this so much nicer. Do you have anybody who could just do your counting for you? If that's possible, they can just be sitting, they could be sitting on your sofa or sitting in a chair just doing the verbal counting. And, you know, finally, if you don't have a bob dummy, you're doing it in the air. That's what we can do right now. Is that ideal? No, it's not ideal. But this way, nobody who's training with me using the technology feels like they're being punished because there's a pandemic. This is what we can do right now, okay? And, you know, I'll share this with you real quickly. Sifu Fong, he's in Johns Creek, Georgia. It's a suburb of Atlanta. It's a 20, 25-minute drive out of downtown Atlanta. And I started going out to work, you know, instructor conferences with him in 2008. And up until 2018, I lived in Southern California. So I'm flying across the country. I used to prep for my gates rounds on a heavy bag. Do a 3-minute round. I'd put my MMA gloves on, and I'd usually, I'd count, you know, in my head usually. But aside from that, that's how I would always physically prepare for gates if I knew I had a rank exam coming up, if I was going to be flying out for an instructors conference. Okay, so if you have a heavy bag, and I don't want to be a hypocrite, I don't even have a heavy bag or a bob here in my apartment, so that wouldn't be an option for me. If you have one available for right now, that's awesome. If you don't have one available, then you're doing it in the air. And even if you're doing it in the air, I don't care if it's one of your kids, it'll be so much nicer to have one person counting, doing their best to count your punches off camera, okay? And 150 punches in 3 minutes is really not that bad. Like you will get it, okay? So for everybody, that is, this time I actually got through it, and I only went 5 minutes into JKD here. That is everything that you need to be aware of for your Wing Chun Yellow Sash test if you were going to submit it by yourself. So this particular recording, I'm going to make this available in both the level 1 kit and the online martial arts learning community. So everybody who's here, you'll get access to this. But this way, you have explicit steps of what you could do. And if you're in the level 1 kit, you get one video exam of your choosing. You can pick whatever program you want to test in, and this way you know exactly what to do. Okay, so we have the model all set up for you. We're gonna bow Wing Chun out. So Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Indonesian, French and Dog Brothers, Japanese. I'm gonna end this recording.